Georgia rumors are on fire as a new crazy story has Georgia fans scared, thinking of another five-star recruit situation, and we got to break it all down. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Georgia Football 365. If you are a Georgia Bulldogs fan, please hit that subscribe button. Only 10.2% of viewers are subscribed to the channel, and it really helps me out a ton. But let's jump right into what we got for today, because there is some stuff going around behind the scenes. Who knows if it's true? Who knows if it's false? But we'll be breaking down absolutely everything right after we take a look at Georgia's new white uniforms that were just released. The videos of them, which I can't show in this video, look really cool. The one thing that I have when thinking about Georgia in white uniforms is exactly that. The Georgia Bulldogs wearing all white doesn't connect in my brain when you think of black, you think of red when it comes to the Georgia Bulldogs, but white jerseys coming to grace our field, our TV screen, however you're watching the Georgia Bulldogs play football in 2026. We got some pretty cool looking alternate jerseys, so excited to see those. But let's jump into the real story here, because there is a top there's a top player committed to the Georgia Bulldogs, ranked number 1 at his position in his draft class, and the Miami Hurricanes are lining up to try to take him currently from the Georgia Bulldogs. Rivals reported that there was a little bit of stuff going on behind the scenes with the Miami Hurricanes pushing to try to get Kaman Spell away from the Georgia Bulldogs. Here's the tweet coming from Rivals. Miami continues to make a push to flip Georgia 5-star plus running back commit Kaman Spell. Rivals Steve Wiltfong has the latest, so we got to dive in and figure out what exactly does Steve Wiltfong with Rivals have to tell us here. And what he wrote was, 2 sources with knowledge of the recruitment tell Rivals that Miami is still involved with the nation's number 1 running back in Kaman Spell. The Hurricanes were a finalist the first time around for the McKeesport, Pennsylvania High 5-star athlete, and at one point looked like they topped his list in the fall. Spell has been a verbal to Georgia since February, choosing the Bulldogs over Miami, Notre Dame, and Penn State. The Hurricanes are not giving up as they look for another running back in this 2027 class. So there we have it. The Miami Hurricanes and Mario Cristobal are currently attempting to make a run at Georgia's 5-star running back commit Kaman Spell. We can see in the composite grade from 24/7 Sports, he is the consensus number 6th best player overall in the class of 2027 and number 1 ranked running back in the class of 2027. Right now thought of as the future of the running back position for the Georgia Bulldogs, and for good reason. Kaman Spell is an absolute monster. He is 5'9", 205 pounds, and everyone has him ranked as a 5-star. This guy's an overall beast. Now, when you are committed to a program and there are stories like this and reports floating around, swirling around in the atmosphere on the internet, there's one thing you got to do, and you got to step up yourself and tell people this is not true. And that's exactly what Kaman Spell did. He took to Twitter himself and said, "This is not true. I'm a dog," with a little dog emoji. Love to see that. That is exactly what you would hope Kaman Spell would say in this situation. But unfortunately, so this is what you want out of Kaman Spell. The Miami Hurricanes, something we do have to talk about with this program right now. Kaman Spell is not the only top guy in 2027 that they're currently going after. They're also going after DJ Jacobs, who is a consensus top 10 guy, 24/7's number 1 player, currently committed to the Ohio State Buckeyes. They're also going after Mark Matthews, who is the best offensive tackle in the class. He's, I believe, the number 2 ranked recruit in the country. He's one of the best players in all of the 2027 college football recruiting class. Mark Matthews, consensus 4th best player in the class, 1st best offensive tackle. The point is, the Miami Hurricanes are going after the top guys. Just because the Miami Hurricanes are going after our guy Kaman Spell, that does not mean that they're going to be acquiring him. We only would have to worry once we get an insider putting out a crystal ball or a Rivals/On3 prediction of a flip coming from Spell from Georgia to go to one of these other programs. So as we currently stand today, we are not super scared of Miami going after Kaman Spell, because we have to understand, when you have top recruits, other schools are going to go after them. That's what the NIL era is. Commitment from player to school and schools back to player is at an all-time low. The word commitment does not mean today what it meant 5 years ago. So players are flipping all the time. And we know players are flipping all the time, as we just saw Curtis last year flip from Georgia to Vanderbilt right before National Signing Day. I know that is a moment that is still fresh in the minds of a lot of Georgia fans. And when people hear this story, I see it on the message boards. People are like, after the whole Jared Curtis situation, if Kaman Spell flipped too, I wouldn't even want to think about recruiting anymore. And when I hear something like that, I say, honestly, I get it. I understand why you would feel that way. But you also have to remember, it's not about winning in August. It's about winning in January. It's about winning in the playoffs. It's about winning on the field in the fall. And Georgia's great at that. So even if Georgia gets a couple of 5-stars to flip from the program and go somewhere else, as long as we keep winning, does it really matter? We got a good update from another insider here, coming from Rusty Mansell with On3. He writes, after making several calls Wednesday night, I feel just as strongly about Spell ending up at Georgia as I did this spring. In today's recruiting landscape, you never say never. We've all seen how quickly things can change, but based on everything Spell has done since giving Josh Crawford his verbal commit on February 2nd, I remain very confident that he stays committed to Georgia. So there we have an insider who is, putting out not an official prediction, but just speaking a prediction in one of his articles where he's saying, if I had to pick today, I'm leaving Kemon Spell with the Georgia Bulldogs. So the rumors are swirling, but still, as of today, and let's confirm the date here if you're watching this video in the future, Thursday, August 6th, Kaman Spell still expected to be remaining with the Georgia Bulldogs and expected to be on campus with the Bulldogs this time next year. And we, of course, want something like that to happen. Now, there are other rumors that we're going to be hearing about with Jaden Wade. A lot of schools are pursuing Jaden Wade. His agent came out and said, his agent came out and said, right now the decision is Jaden Wade going to take extra visits, yes or no? And then Jaden Wade came out and reaffirmed his commitment to Georgia as well. So right now it feels like the Bulldogs have staved off those Jaden Wade rumors. They can resurface at any time, but right now we can feel good about both Kaman Spell and Jaden Wade's recruitments about where they currently stand. Jaden Wade, the consensus number 2 quarterback in the class of 2028, 6'3", 190 pounds, potentially the future of the quarterback position for the Georgia Bulldogs. As a consensus 5-star recruit, you would expect him to be, but we do have to wait 2 years to get him on campus as he is in the class of 2028. That's what I got for this video. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video all the way through. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Go Dogs!